Hi everyone, welcome to the Metal Crafter. In today's video I'm gonna be making my first mini diorama. So of course I enjoy painting minis for my table, but since we haven't had the chance to meet live for quite a while now since COVID started, I kind of lost the motivation to do so. Nevertheless, I've been thinking about doing a diorama for quite a while now, so thought it was the perfect time to try that. Thinking about the concept, I had this image in my head about a knight on a hill, which kind of then evolved in a supernatural / hellish idea. So I really hope that you like the video, and let's hit the table. I got this Chaos Knight figure in my local store, and though it's not a character I would use in any of my planned adventures, I thought it looked badass for a diorama. I'm using a round 8cm MDF piece for the base, and I'll be cutting a foam block in smaller slices. In this case, the block was around 5cm high, and I cut it in 4 slices around 1cm thick. Each of the slices will represent a stone layer on the hill. Next, we'll be making random cuts on the sides of the slices and roughly tearing pieces of the foam with our fingers, defining the shapes of each layer. My idea is for each layer to be smaller than the previous one as the hill gets to the top. Since using the blade will leave some thin and sharp edges, I wanted those to look more naturally weathered, and therefore I'm using some fire to remove those. Be sure to be very careful with this step, as you might melt the whole thing. Don't get the flames too close, and do so only in places where needed. After that, we also get some stone texture over the surface of the slices. I'm here using my favorite real concrete piece to do so, but you can use any other material or tool like the faithful aluminum ball. I'm here trying different positions for the stone pieces and defining the final layout, after which we just glue the layers together with silicone glue. I'm also checking which is the front I would like to use once the mini is set, and doing a few more details with the knife. Once we have our base glued, we can proceed with rock flocking. I recently got a cat and have been wanting to try the cat litter in my craft. I have to say, it's awesome. We add some PVA glue and drop bigger parts of stones in the MDF base. We continue with some smaller ones in the horizontal surfaces of the main stones except for the top. I then continued with some regular sand and helped myself with a brush. The natural part of our rocky hill is now ready for the next step. I'm going to use some 2-part epoxy modeling clay to make several tentacles, which I just knead with my hands. A tip here, I usually add some additional industrial oil to the mix so the clay doesn't harden or dry so fast. This also helps if your clay is nearing the expiration date. Once we do so, we start adding the tentacles to the heel, especially in holes or the intersections between the stones, so it looks as if they are coming out from within, and bend them as to give them different shapes. We can use the same clay to fix it to the foam and can reinforce afterwards with some PVA glue. I used some cheap modeling tools to give them a little bit more texture and also created a bigger tentacle which will add to the top part. This is the last step from the heel construction and we can proceed with painting. We start with a whole bright red base, especially in the cracks, stone intersections and deep spaces. And once dry, we give the whole piece a black wash. Next, I'm adding some black to the lower part and horizontal stone surfaces. We switch to a black dry brush over the edges and cracks. Make sure not to cover the cracks red. Next, I give the stone a heavy dry brush with purple and then a lighter gray dry brush on top. After that, I give the entire piece another black wash and then prepare a brownish wash, which we only use in the lower part and a few exposed horizontal parts of the stone. Mainly where we previously added sand. Last step on the rock is a very light white dry brush over a few edges to highlight them. We then finish painting the tentacles, for which we use the bright red again and then some black wash. With this, our heel painting is ready and we can start working on the Mini. I start by disassembling the Mini and cleaning the mold lines. When I bought the Mini, I thought the head looked odd and the helmet had no holes. So I was surprised when I took it out and found out it was basically glued backwards. Since our rocky heel is mainly foam, I wanted for the Mini to have a strong grip and therefore thought about adding some metal wires under it with the help of a small drill. Got some super glue on the holes and then stick the wires. We can then start by priming the whole Mini. I first used some dark brown for the skull holes and the necklace string. Then some gray over the hide's fur and a lighter brown for the inner part of the hide. Also did a white dry brush over the skulls. I used silver as base for all chainmail parts of the armor, and I wanted for the main armor to stand out from the diorama, but didn't want to go with a regular Chaos or Hellish dark color, so I thought that bronze would look good. I'm then doing a whole black wash and once dried, I paint both cape and part of the back with a purple color. Though I wanted for the armor to stand out, I didn't want it to be too shiny, and therefore did a dry brush with some light brown afterwards. This gives it a rusty look. Also did a white dry brush over the skulls and the hide's fur. I added a dark blue wash over the cape and then another black one. I'm now giving the Mini a first coat with a matte varnish. We now proceed to assemble the main parts with super glue and stick the Mini into the base in the desired position before painting the remaining parts. I paint the shield and helmet with the exact same process as the main armor, and went with a dark red for the sword's handle. Helmet's horns with a light brown and then black wash. I had a glossy varnish for a long time, which I haven't used yet in any of my crafts, and thought it would give the tentacles a more lively look, so cover all of them with it. Finally, we paint the sword with silver, and thought about giving the flames a more supernatural look. So I went with this bright green, some white dry brush, and then a light black wash. To complete our piece, we glue the remaining parts, and now can see how our final diorama looks like. There we have our first mini diorama of the series, and since I also collect 7 inches figures, we'll also be making some dioramas about that in the future. I hope that you can grab some ideas for your own crafts, and as always, if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave your comments below. See you in the next craft.